guys, it's JACLYN. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a video that was so highly requested. I want to first off apologize because I do realize that I already did a MORPHE video this week and I know you guys are kind of sick of them. I hear yous, I'm listening, but I'm also listening to the people who've been asking for this video for so long. So I want to apologize to those of you who don't want to watch it. To those of you who do want to watch it, I hope that I am fulfilling your request. Don't worry, next week I will have more videos on different topics. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be finally comparing the Jaclyn Hill and MORPHE Vault collection, and in particular the majority of you guys wanted to see the Bling Boss, which yeah, I make sure that both of these are Bling Boss. These are both the Bling Boss palettes. I have the original one here which I got sent out in PR, so thank you so much MORPHE for sending me that. I always have to disclaim this, but I'm not affiliated with MORPHE. They don't pay me, I don't work with them, nothing like that. I just am fortunate to get PR. My code on the original one is AB05C, and this is my original Bling Boss palette which I've used a bit, and I gave this to my friend Shannon to try, and I think both of us would agree when using this palette that it wasn't amazing. I didn't have the best look with it. I found some of the eyeshadows a bit patchy, some of them weren't formulated as well. I feel like this was the most troublesome palette I had out of the bunch. So when MORPHE reformulated, they sent me out the other one. This is the volume 2 and it has it down in the corner. I'll try and do a little zoom up. This code is AB05L. I have not even swatched it. There's the plastic. It still looks the exact same as the original one, but the formula apparently is changed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the old palette onto this eye and then the new palette onto this eye, just to see, has the formula actually changed? Has it improved? Is it easier to blend, easier to use? I will also discuss, because I've used every single shadow in this palette, which ones I have major problems with. Do I recommend this palette? Right now, this palette that I have, the old version, no, I don't recommend it at all. The new version, you know, that all remains to be seen. I just started with my foundation because I always do my foundation first and then go in with the eye. I also will use the same brush, but I'll just clean it off with my Cinema Secrets brush cleaner in between. So I'm going to use the exact same brush for both, just so you guys can see, you know, the brushes aren't interfering or anything like that with the product. First off, I'm taking my Beauty Bakery loose powder and just going to set my eyelids with that, and I'm using the new Jaclyn Hill brushes that I got yesterday, but if you want to see my whole video on that, it would be my previous video and I'll link it down below. So I'm going to take the old palette first and I'm going to go in with Hush Hush on the JH30 brush, and I'm just going to apply that straight into my crease. I will zoom up momentarily. I'm doing crease work so we can kind of work from far away. I didn't have any problem with Hush Hush. I found that this eyeshadow actually blended out quite well and I enjoyed it. It gives a nice wash of colour on the lid. Mauves and purples are my favourite on my eyes. I just think they look really nice. And I feel like cool undertones on my eyes look epic. Not gonna lie, I do like them. So just put a bit of that Cinema Secrets product on to this very dirty makeup wipe, and then I'm just going to take off any of the extra product. Now we're going to go in with the brand spanking new palette, and obviously I'm going to take Hush Hush again. The Cinema Secrets brush cleaner actually dries your brush like almost momentarily. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it. This is a little bit more of a powdery shadow than the one in here. I feel like this one was a little bit more densely pressed. I don't know if that will affect the actual shadow on my lid. Okay, well, I'm not noticing a huge difference side by side, but I do slightly think that this one has a bit more pigmentation, like a little bit more pigmentation. I haven't needed to use as much eyeshadow. I have to go back in with this one a few times, whereas this one, not so much. Just an FYI as well, I didn't have any major problems with the Jaclyn Hill Vault palettes. I didn't find that the pigmentation was lackluster or anything like that in them. It was only this palette. It was really only this one. Okay, this next eyeshadow was my biggest issue in the whole entire palette. It was this one here, Rockstar. I also had a major issue with Gem as well, so I'm also going to be using that in the tutorial. So I'm going to take my Zoeva, this is my 228 Luxe crease brush, and I'm going to go in with Rockstar. Kind of on my eye I have the issue. It just looks patchy and like a hot mess. I'm not a makeup artist, so I'm just like a normal everyday girl just doing makeup, and I just don't like when eyeshadows don't perform well for me because it makes them too much of a drag. I'm just going to pop that into the crease as well over the purple. See, it just kind of like looks patchy on my eyelid. I don't know why. It always does this. And this was my favorite color out of the palette, and I just really wanted it to work for me. That's as good as it's gonna get. It's a little bit patchy, and you can see where it kind of grabs on a little bit more here than there. I don't know. That's just the life of this shadow for me. So I'm gonna clean off that brush and then go into the new palette. Just going to dip into Rockstar. Okay, so right off the bat, this is like way more pigmented. Way more. Okay, so just taking a little bit of time just to blend that out. I think it looks a bit better. Obviously, I'll clean it up a little bit as we're going along, but it's still a little bit on the patchy side. Not as much as this one though. This one's definitely worse. This shade is a little bit softer in the new palette. So from the old palette, I'm going to go in with the shade Mystic up here. I had awful issues with this. It was always just a wee bit patchy. So I'm going to take it on a brush like this, and I'm just going to hope for the best with it. Deepen up the crease, but keep it kind of lower. Kind of keep it tucked in there to my crease. See, I feel like this is turning into a mess. I'm gonna go back into that first brush and just use that to blend everything out. I feel like I got punched in the eye. Look at this patchiness, guys. Oh man, it's super patchy. Okay, and now from the new palette, we're gonna go in with the same brush that I just cleaned off. Say a prayer for me, guys. I don't know, they both look the same and everything. I'm just not overly happy with them. Okay, let's get stuck into the old palette again, and I'm going to go in with the shade Gem here. I always had the biggest issues with that. Look at that. Like, I'm digging my brush in and it just doesn't really pick up that much product. This brush is dry, and I always have to wet it, but I'm just not gonna for the purpose of this video. We'll just see how we get on with it being dry. I'm just gonna pop that all over my lid. It just is not picking up the shadow and making it as intense as I would like. And I keep having to go back into my palette and like dig my brush in. I'm using the Sigma E57, just if you're wondering. I feel like that's the best I'm going to get with that, so I'm just going to leave it there. Taking the old palette and this brush, I'm just going to go back into the crease just to kind of blend out that purple and add back in that shade Rockstar. I feel like giving up. It's just turning out so messy. Oh. Okay, same brush, cleaned off and dry. I'm going to go in with Gem from the new palette. It's a little bit better. It's picking up a little bit more product, but we'll see when I apply it to the eye what it's like. Ooh. Okay, this eyeshadow is probably one of the most noticeably better formulated ones. I noticed that it's a lot creamier, a lot easier to use on the eye, and it's picking up more product with the brush. Not a whole lot though. I'm still kind of having to go in with my brush, but yeah, it's definitely picking up a little bit more than the old palette. So this is a noticeable difference. I'm going to go back in with Rockstar again on this brush, which is now dry but quite stained, and I'm just taking it into the crease once more just to kind of add a little bit of colour back in there, because I feel like I lost a little bit. Sorry if the sun's going cray cray. I actually want to give up today, guys, and go home. What's happening? Anyway, I'm going to just persevere with this. I'm going to go back into the old palette and take the shade Berry Treasure, and I'm going to take it on a flat shader brush as well. This is just another E57, just a different one that I have, and just apply a little bit to the outer corner here. And then with the new palette, I'm going to go in with the same Berry Treasure, taking it on the same brush, just cleaned off, and apply it in the same area. Ooh, that is way more pigmented than that one. Holy cracker. I'm just going to take a clean brush, any clean brush I have here, and just blend that out. Now with the old palette and my finger, I'm taking the shade Ballsy. I'm just going to apply that over the top of Gem. Kind of creating a spotlight eye, but not really. I'm going to do the same on the other eye with the new palette. So I put into that. Ooh, this is way more creamy. I can even feel that with my finger. Okay, from the old palette, I'm going to go in with this shade here, Bling Bling. Pop that into my inner tear duct. And a little bit underneath my brow. New palette, clean brush. I'm just going to apply the same shade into the inner corner. Okay, going in with the old palette, I'm going to take the shade Hush Hush again on a little pencil brush and just run this the whole way underneath my lower lash line. Okay, cleaning off the brush, going in with Hush Hush in the new palette and doing the exact same thing. Next, I'm going to take this JH43 brush, which I love this brush. I'm going to take Rockstar from the old palette and pop that right underneath my lower lashes. Right up in there. New palette, taking Rockstar again and just popping it right up underneath my lower lashes. Airy Treasure, and just tie this together with the upper lashes, we'll say, or the upper eye rather. New palette, taking the same shade, same brush, just cleaned off and doing the same technique. Oh my, it is so much more intense in this palette. I'm telling you, it is way more intense. Okay, I'm gonna have to take like a little pencil brush just to blend that out. I feel like I made an absolute mess. Okay guys, I think that's as much damage as I can do for now. I'll come back and talk to you then in regards to the palette as a whole. I don't think it's changed too much, my opinion on it, to be honest. I've used obviously a good few times and I've always found it to be a bit tricky to blend. I find it very harsh on my eyes. I don't find it particularly amazing on my eyes. I love purple eyeshadows. I'm so into purple, you guys know that. I've talked about that a million times. I just really like them on my eye color and I've worn purple eyeshadows for as long as I can remember. But this palette is not my go-to purple eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to say that. It's just not. It's not what I use. I don't tend to gravitate towards it. I'm loving the Norvina palette lately. It's just not amazing on my eyes. It's just really, really, really not. I find the same thing with the volume 2, guys. My opinion hasn't really changed that much on the product. I still find it really, really hard to blend them. I still think they look really messy on my eyes. Maybe I'm just crap at eyeshadow. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a makeup artist by any means. And when it comes to makeup, I'm still learning every day. Like, I'm still experimenting, trying my hand at makeup. But I feel like the majority of you guys watching are the same. Like, you're just trying makeup and you're trying to get stuff that works properly on your eyes. It is a beautiful palette. If you want to put the time and the effort into trying to make it work, I highly recommend that. And because the colors are pretty, but they just take some time. I'm noticing a little bit more of a difference in the kind of shimmery shades. I just feel like they're a lot creamier, a lot more pigmented, but as the performance on the eye, like not hugely different in my opinion. You can see the difference between Gem from the old and the new palette. It's just so much better in the new palette. Like, that's the new palette, that's the old one. At least we can see a difference in the shades. As for blendability, I just think it's got to do with it being a purple eyeshadow palette. They're hard to formulate, they're hard to blend because that's just the way of purple eyeshadows. I persevere with them personally because I like them. Some people say clear purples for that reason, because they are so hard to blend and to work on the eyes. That's my 2 cents on the palettes. The new one is a little bit better, I'm not gonna lie, it is slightly better, but I'm not noticing a massive difference. I still feel like my eyes are a little bit muddy and a bit messy. Obviously it's the look I went for today. It's a little bit vampy and deep and dark. All in all, I just still feel the same about these palettes. What do you guys think of the Bling Boss? Have you tried it? Do you like it? Is there any other palettes that you would like me to try from the Vault collection? So I'm going to do a quick swatch of these now for you, so you can see what they're like, and I'm going to swatch them on my arm. So these are the front of the palettes, both the same, and then on the back they're slightly different. We have our little codes here, which you probably won't be able to see. There's one there and one there, and then the new one has this little V2 on the bottom. So I'm going to go in with Bling Bling first from the old palette, and then Bling Bling from the new palette. This is the old palette, and this is the new one. We'll go in with Hush Hush, old palette, new palette. So you can kind of see a little bit of a difference with that shade. Gem, old palette, gem, new palette, old palette. And this is the new palette. There is a huge difference in that. And I took the exact same amount of product. Pizzazz, old palette, Pizzazz, new palette. So this is the old palette, and this is the new one. So again, a bit of a difference in that, not massively, but Gem is definitely the one that we can see the most difference with. Next, I'm going to take Mystic from the old palette and Mystic from the new palette. This feels a lot creamier. So old palette, new palette. Not a huge difference in them either. They're still a little bit patchy, and you could see that even when they're on my eye, they were hard to work with. So there is the first row, and you can kind of see a little bit of a difference. So next I'm going to take Sparks from the old palette and Sparks from the new one. This is the old one, and that's the new one. Actually, the new one is not as good as the old one. Definitely is the right... Yeah, this is the old palette, and it's swatches a bit better, the old one. We're going to go old palette with Glitz and Glam, and then new palette with Glitz and Glam. This feels a lot softer in this. So old palette, new palette. So now we're going to go in with Rockstar. That's the old palette. New one, Rockstar. So this is the old palette, and this is the new one. So the new one definitely swatches a little bit softer than the old one, and not as patchy, as you can see that there. Now Ballsy. Old palette, new palette. So that's the old palette, and that's the new one. So again, not a huge difference in that. I think Ballsy looks a bit better in the new palette personally, and it just feels nicer. And then finally Berry Treasure. This is the old palette, and Berry Treasure from the new palette. And there you go. So that's old v new. Guys, I hope those swatches helped you. Like I said, I'm not really noticing a massive difference from using these on my eye and even swatching them. The biggest difference I notice is definitely with Gem and Rockstar. They're the two biggest differences. And then Sparks. Like Sparks from this old palette. I'm just going to show you this again. So this is the old one, and that's the new one. Old one, new one. Yeah, look. That's the old one on top, and that's the new one. I was like, did I swatch them wrong or something? But no, the old one actually swatches a bit better than the new one. I don't know. That's all I really want to say on those palettes. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. And if you want to see any more of the Morphe ones, the eyes, like the old versus new, that was kind of like the major one, because especially for me, I had the most issues with it, and a lot of people wanted to see how the formula changed. But anyway, there you go. That's my opinion on it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know what other videos you want to see coming up on my channel, and I will talk to all you guys very soon. Mwah. Bye guys, I love you.